are challenging the globalists toe-to-toe, exposing their scientific tyranny, their eugenics takeover, their Agenda 21, New World Order program of despotism and forced collectivism so the ruling elite can play the part of gods in their breakaway civilization with the life-extension technologies hoarded to themselves while carrying out the orderly extermination of the general population through soft-kill weapons in our food, our water, the GMO, the vaccines, all of it. And the evidence is overwhelming. The epidemic of diabetes and cancer. No one asks why it's exploding. We know why. We are under chemical and biological and radiological attack by the same government, the same globalists that have been caught putting foster kids in X-ray ovens and frying them, nerve gassing our own troops. This isn't our government. This is criminal elements that have taken it over. They are the eugenicist, New World Order crowd. They're the people that created Hitler. Again, if you just joined us, I'm Alex Jones. We're going to open the phones up here for first-time callers yet again. We don't screen your calls. I just ask that you have a point, be ready to make it. On the election, on how bad you think the economy is going to get, on Obama, are you happy? Are you upset about it? We had all these Obama supporters call in last week as I opened the phones up for them. A lot of people were chomping at the bit to counter them and talk about those calls, where if you don't agree with Obama on anything, you're a racist. Well, I'd like to hear from people that wanted to respond. 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. Now, first off, I want to hit this story because I talked about this a little bit yesterday. It's an Infowars.com, Paul Joseph Watson article. And again, I mentioned it, but I didn't get into it. It's such a big deal to just show how far we've gone, because the same thing's now happening in areas of Europe. This is the Agenda 21 system. We're under environmental rules. You're not allowed to have your own family farm. Your kids aren't allowed to do chores. But mega corporations are all exempt from this. San Diego residents face 6 years in prison for washing their car. And if you want to show folks a document cam, I'll put it right over here for everybody to see that right there. San Diegans could face 6 years in prison and face $100,000 a day for washing their cars in the driveway or failing to pick up dog poop under new EPA-mandated environmental regulations related to water quality. And you've seen the green police ad that Audi ran, and then the mayor of San Francisco bragged that had been produced in San Francisco and that's what they were really going to do, and that's even the real uniforms. Listen, we already have the biggest prison population. They're going to take everything you got, okay? They're coming. You want to cross-species engineer, you want to dump toxic waste, you want to do whatever, you're fine if you're a big globalist corporation. But if you're an individual, if your kid drops a battery in the backyard and your neighbor sees it on accident, you're going to spend time in prison. They're going to take everything you got. Home inspections, bureaucrats, cops putting cameras in your yard without warrants. That's already happening. Police dogs coming in without warrants. Drones watching you. Warrantless wiretaps. The CIA director spied on by the FBI. Just wall-to-wall evil. Street lights with microphones and cameras watching you. And it goes on here. Although residents of the city, and this is in the local newspapers, we have links to it where they report it with a straight face. Although residents of the city are forced to drink toxic waste in their water supply in the form of sodium fluoride and hundreds of other chemicals they add. They make you pay for toxic waste from chemical plants, and they call it an additive and put medical additive and put it in there and forcibly medicate you. Measures imposed as a consequence of the Environmental Protection Agency's Clean Water Act would turn the mundane of activities, the most mundane of activities, into a criminal offense. Quote, California's latest experiment in faith-based policymaking is being unleashed today on the San Diego public. A regional water quality officials, not servants, began hearings on new regulations that seem crafted to turn most owners of cars, house or dogs into criminals within a decade or so. We wish we were exaggerating, reports the North County Times. Under the draft rules, ordinary homeowners may face 6 years in prison and fines of $100,000 a day if they are deemed serial offenders of such new crimes as allowing sprinklers to hit the pavement, washing a car in the driveway, or conceivably failing to pick up dog poop promptly from their own backyards, let alone the sidewalk. And then they're putting these meters with RFID scanners on the trash cans in Miami and other areas. Same thing in England. Then they have citizen spies that get percentages of the money to come dig through your trash. The regulations will be enforced with the aid of 24-hour telephone snitch line, with residents of San Diego, South Orange, and Southside Riverside counties can use a report on their neighbors for violating the new code. The new rules could even force firefighters to collect the water they use to douse burning buildings. Yeah, they're going to tie us up in such bureaucratic red tape that we just totally collapse, while China, India, and 100 plus of the third world countries are totally exempt. And we've got suicide nets around their factories and abortuaries inside where they force abort people that get pregnant. I mean, this is in the news. Mobile execution vans, you name it in China. That's what we're competing against. And this is the system that they are bringing in. And again, they're just going to keep ratcheting it up. Government telling you can't pack lunches for your kids. Government saying they got cameras in the school bathrooms watching your kids. It's beyond 1984. And we just comply and comply and comply. They say hay dust in a barn, $2,000 a day fines. I've seen, we got to dig these up and put them on. Some of them are on the internet from 96, 97 on my Access TV show, where old people would call me and say, I'm over here on West 37th, Roland Ellingson. They're giving me $2,000 a day fines this week because my grass was too high. I even went and mowed it, and they're still giving me more. And I went over there. He had 3-inch grass. He was in a gentrifying area with yuppie living around him who wanted his property, it turned out. And then a good police officer called me and said, here's 2 city council people's houses. They've got like 3-foot grass in the middle of the city. And I went over there and showed that, and they backed off. And I went and showed the health department with 2-foot grass. But the point is $2,000 a day fines. It said weeds and other objectionable material. That's how they're now arresting people for gardens all over the country. They say, we find it objectionable. We are God. Well, now it isn't going to be $2,000 a day. My grandfather, my dad looked at it. I looked at it. I advised him to fight it. My grandfather just climbed over and did it. They had a drainage ditch behind their house, not on their property, with a government easement off the highway. And they started sending him $2,000 a day fines when he was 70-something years old, saying, you will clean out the brush that's flooded, even though it wasn't from his yard, or we'll keep fining you. Not a bill to clean it up, even though that was a fraud. He climbed over, worked on it, drug it out, had a heart attack, and then was all screwed up for about 5 years till he died. But the point is, this is the scum of the bureaucrat code enforcer who will now put you in jail for 6 years, $100,000 fine. And you've heard about the SWAT teaming events for people that don't water their grass in areas of even like places like Idaho. This is it, folks. This is, see, you're being inducted into the criminal justice system. You're the food. And they're going to take everything you got, and they're going to have a little knick-knack excuse to do it. So I hope all of you that love the government, the same government that's done all these secret tests on people killing the population on record, I hope you enjoy what you get, because they're going to destroy our society, and no amount of new money will fund the counties, the cities. They tell the code enforcers, go raise money, you'll get your job. No amount of that. It's all taken offshore on purpose to destroy the economy. It's just quadrillions they just put in the bank of derivatives crud. Okay, the plan is to wreck us. And when they pass the carbon taxes and the VAT taxes and the rest of it in the name of austerity to keep the economy going this year, close quote, remember, it's designed to shut the economy down. So I hope you all enjoy that, those of you that love big government. Jay in England, where they're now arresting people for not throwing the proper... I've seen $3,000 fines for putting cat litter in the wrong trash can. It's all about the religion. It's not going to just be recycling, folks. It's going to be, you're going to be taxed and harassed for everything you do and surveilled. The hell world is coming. Go ahead. This is the tyranny. Jay in England, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Alex. It's my first time call. I've just started getting to you about 3 weeks ago. And basically, what it is basically, this Big Brother state, you know, is sort of getting out of hand. I mean, I live in Peterborough in England, and I went to town for the first time in 2 years last week, and now they've got microphones up on each side of the CCTV. I mean, how bad does it need to get before people finally sort of, you know, wake up? Do you know what I mean? It's getting ridiculous.
Well, I mean, just 6-7 years ago, they denied they were listening to your phones. Now they say, oh, we listen to all your phones in live time. And when you're walking around in England now, because I've been there, they just walk up, and I've talked to the Watsons that live there, and they just go, where are you going? We just want to know. And they harass people that look clean cut and hardworking. If you're hardcore thugs, they'll let you beat, they're allowed to do whatever they want. This is a lawless criminal takeover where the criminals instinctively hate the fact that good people will stand in their way. So this is all the religious domination of the good. This is a religion of evil. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's the case. I mean, I work as a water treatment technician, so I meet people on a daily basis, and everybody's so sick and tired of it. But, they say, what can I do? What do I do?
Well, you got to stop complying, and you've got to start exposing the bureaucrats. You've got to go after the bureaucrats on little things like their expense accounts and auditing them, and they're all crooks. So if you go investigate them, you're going to find out they're involved in crime. You've got to see them as the enemy, and you've got to discredit them. You've got to undermine them. You've got to demonize them. You've got to attack them legally and lawfully as your savage enemies, because they are yours. These are would-be Soviet takeover artists with a high-tech integration, okay? They are our mortal enemies. They are eugenicists, death cult, lovers of evil.
As we saw in Katrina, and as we are watching now in New York and New Jersey, the federal government can't and won't help you in a crisis. FEMA ran out of water and MREs in days. Electricity is still off to over 1 million people. The Red Cross, who is quick to beg for money, is now slow to react. Don't put it off any longer. Get prepared today. The InfoWars shop is the largest distributor of ProPur water filter systems. And now, get 15% off your ProPur order with the promo code WATER15. While you're on InfoWarsShop.com, check out these other great preparedness items. The Aquapod kit lets you store up to 65 gallons of water in your bathtub. The Pocket Socket provides you with manual electricity for small electronics like your cell phone. The Life Straw is great for your bug-out bag. And check out our complete line of Interfood products for great tasting and nutritionally dense foods that have a great shelf life. If you are looking to secure your home in a crisis, you can order Strategic Relocations, the film, a great companion to the book Strategic Relocations 3rd edition, and The Secure Home by Joel Skousen. When the time to perform arrives, the time to prepare has already passed. Get prepared now, so if a crisis strikes your home, you and your family will be secure. Go to InfoWarsShop.com and don't forget the promo code WATER15.
I have hired an expanded graphics department of some very talented people. And you'll now notice every day up at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com, you'll see some of the amazing art that's in Infowars magazine up there. And there's a image of a Reaper 308, and it says, the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, Second Amendment. And what you do is you click, you copy that, you email it out. That's the type of thing that goes viral. Just every little thing you do will help get the word out. Let's continue with your phone calls here. Derek in Utah, thanks for holding her on the air. Welcome.
Alex, how you doing?
Good.
I love you, brother. Hey, just wanted to thank you, and I know you don't like to be thanked and stuff, and I just want to tell you that I understand your frustration trying to get things through people's heads. I'm a Mormon, didn't vote for Romney, sure as heck didn't vote for Obama. Just want to tell everybody out there, a lot of people are aware of what's going on. We're all prepared. I got an evil well. I got evil chickens running around my backyard.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Manure has runoff, even though it's always naturally been there. We're going to have to arrest you. You're not allowed to. Is there hay dust? I mean, it's okay to put GMO pesticides in your food or fluoride in your water, but you can't have any runoff. We're going to have to shut you down.
Well, I just wanted you to know I'm getting a little meeting together here with Joel Skousen's coming out. We're going to try to make some of these Mormons out here who are all Republicans try to aware of what's really going on.
Well, that's what's happening. We've all got to get meetings going. All of you have to be leaders in your area and get aggressive. Don't just count on Ron Paul or Alex Jones or others out there. This is make it or break it. We are in the middle of a scientific, creeping, corporate, authoritarian, bureaucratic, red tape-laced takeover. God bless you. Good to hear from you. Cupcake in Maryland. You're on the air, Cupcake.
Hey there, Alex. Can you hear me?
Yes, Cupcake.
Yeah, I just want to let you know, if it weren't for you and InfoWars, I'd be a very sick woman. I was a former Glenn Beck viewer and listener. Until I stumbled across one of your YouTube channels and found out that I'm not being told about GMOs. I'm not being told about the police state, the false flags and black ops, the mafia that is the pharmacy industry. Agenda 21.
But here's the good news. We're forcing him to cover it now. That's why he implied that I'm trying to cover it up, because he has to tell more and more of the truth if we're here. I mean, we're all that stands in his way of a monopoly he sees as a business. And again, if you just joined us, I shouldn't have spent 30 minutes first hour going after Glenn Beck. He just called me a piece of garbage and all this stuff, and really went after me yesterday and implied I was trying to lie about him when I'm not. And it's just despicable. And look, I don't want to sit here and bash Glenn Beck. We got bigger fish to fry. Overall, he does better and better work, and we're keeping him honest. Look, you wouldn't hear any of these mainline talk show hosts talk about a new world order just 5 years ago. Now they all have to talk about it. Why is that? Not just because of Alex Jones or Ron Paul, but because of you. Okay? I mean, look, and now the world government we talked about is being announced. So we were right, they were wrong. And so, of course, they're going to attack us. I mean, look, Glenn Beck said he was going blind from macular degeneration. Paul Watson and I wrote an article thinking maybe we could get him to realize that aspartame is known to cause that in major scientific studies. We wrote an article linking to the studies. We sent it to him. We sent it to Matt Drudge, who cared. Put it up, I'm sure, thinking, hey, here, I'll try to help Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck went on the show and made fun of us, made fun of InfoWars and made fun of it. So, I mean, it's just a creepiness. It's a creepiness factor that, okay, go blind then, man. Knock yourself out, because I've seen him a few times I've tuned in with a Diet Coke up there. He's very proud of that. All I know is I'm going to warn that most of the sugar gum now has it and it's hurting our kids. I'm going to talk about it, and I wish he'd come out and warn people so we can help little kids that are getting hurt by this. I wish to heaven above that I could have got Lance Armstrong to talk about why is cancer increasing instead of cancer cures. But he told me go where the sun doesn't shine. Years ago, back when he still had power and had a chance to do good. But it's just all part of this mean, hard world. Anything else you'd like to add, Cupcake?
Yeah, I would.
Stay there. I'm going to come back to you. Stay there. We'll be right back to you.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done has been right.
Again, we were just talking to Cupcake, a lady calling in. I don't want to get into bashing Glenn Beck, okay? He comes out and calls me a piece of garbage and implies, because he put out fake Agenda 21 ads, that I was trying to defame him when we posted a link to it for 30 minutes. One of my webmasters, we had it taken down 30 minutes in because I could tell it was satire. But he put it out there so people would be confused. Then he attacks me. That's not my issue with Glenn Beck, okay? My issue is that he sees it as we're in competition, and I'm not in competition with Glenn Beck, okay? This is not about Alex Jones being, king of the hill. So I don't want to digress off into that. But yes, 4 years ago, Glenn Beck would say that Ron Paul supporters are dangerous, and that's why they're getting the army ready to put them on the streets. I've played the clip before, and I'll put a video together. He would say there's no new world order. Now he says he's the king of it, and he's the guy exposing Agenda 21 and implies I'm trying to stop him or something. I mean, and then I'm in a basement. So I don't know what to say to any of this, and I didn't mean to get off into it, but the lady was just listing different facets, different reasons, different examples, different everything that feed into all of this, and why it upset her when she first heard Glenn Beck, but then realized he wasn't telling her all the other issues that are going on. Like, Beck will now talk about eugenics. I mean, I'm proud of the fact that I've forced eugenics, along with my listeners, out to be a major issue now. But at the same time, then he never tells you the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the depopulation and the full story. He tells you the Democratic Party wants to do this. No, this is a global government takeover. Announced. Real fast, finish up, Cupcake.
Well, yeah, and he is always talking about how to love your brother and how we need to help each other. And as your son, I heard your son yesterday, and it gave me goosebumps. And it makes me think, this is what it's all for. And Matthew 7, judge not that you be not judged. But also, I just wanted to quickly say that I bought into the vaccine and the whole H1N1 back in 2009 and took the shots. I have been very sick ever since. I've got autoimmune disorders that they can't identify. I've got rheumatoid arthritis all of a sudden, high blood pressure, atrial fibrillation. I've got emphysema. I've got all these illnesses. I was a healthy woman. And now
I know, it's incredible. The insert says it does all that to you, and then they get on the news and say there's no side effects. That's what I want to cover. And that's what these neocon talk show hosts won't talk about. And that's what makes me so angry, is it's not just you. You've gotten to live some life. They're doing this to little kids now with these vaccines and the GMO, and it makes me angry. And then to see a bunch of establishment types now trying to co-opt the movement that we've built over decades, people like Steve Shank, Ron Paul, G. Edward Griffin, countless others, is very frustrating. And Cupcake, you should go on YouTube. You should shoot videos, your testimony. Everybody damaged by these vaccines. Everybody damaged by Big Pharma. Our voices cannot be shut down. That's why they want to shut us down, is because we're so powerful. All of you have power. All of us together will defeat these people. God bless you. Good to hear from you. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.